Season 7 of Sun Coaches Podcast is proudly brought to you by Titan Sensor. Season 7. That was my number in high school, so maybe this will be lucky for us. We'll see. You know, I've learned over time that when somebody's talking about something you really don't want to talk about, you just can always throw in there, hey, I knew this guy once, and then just pretty much make up whatever you want to, and they won't listen to it. They'll get off track, and you don't have to talk about the uncomfortable thing anymore. Coach, like we do every week, tell everybody where you grew up and where you're from. Sun Coaches Podcast, where not everybody has a funny story, but everybody has a story. Hope you enjoy Season 7 of Sun Coaches Podcast. Sun Coaches is proud to partner with Titan Sensor for Season 6 and 7. Titan is made in the USA, proudly founded and based in Texas. When you connect with Titan, you are not alone. You can collaborate and share templates with other coaches across the country to build reports and foster competition. Used by programs such as State 6A Georgia State champion Grayson High School, Titan can tailor a package to fit your needs. The eye in the sky never lies. Improve your team's performance with Titan. Welcome to Sun Coaches Podcast, Season 7. I'm very excited today to be joined by one of the coaches up in the mountains, the place where everybody knows I want to go when I retire, the head coach at Ringgold, Coach Austin Crisp. Thanks for being on with us.
I appreciate you for having me.
Well, Coach, just like I do with everybody, where did you actually grow up and go to school?
So I grew up in Chickamauga, Georgia, which is about 24. It's actually about 24 minutes from Ringgold. Went to Gordley High School, played for Kevin McElhaney and Josh Gross, and now my offensive line coach played for Lee Bohannon. He was the offensive coordinator. Man, I think it was 2006, 5, I don't know, till 2010. And then graduated in 2011 and really didn't know what I wanted to do, to be honest with you. I originally started out being a radiation therapy major, where I was going to go to Chattanooga State and then eventually go on to medical school. And then one of my observation classes, I had to go and see what it was all about. And of course, radiation therapy is about dealing with cancer patients. And the what I got drawn was going to visit some children that were going through radiation therapy. And I made it about 25 minutes, and it broke my heart. And I said, I'm not doing this. I'll go dump trash. I will not watch children go through this. So after that, I was umpiring a baseball game, 5 and 6 or 7-8 baseball game. I can't remember. And a guy named Dustin Medeiros came up to me. I was 19 years old and said, hey, why don't you come help me coach at Saddle Ridge Middle School? So that was my very first job. I took, man, it was fun. We started a middle school program at Saddle Ridge, and it was a lot of work, but it sure was a lot of fun.
So what all did you play in high school?
I played football. I wrestled and played baseball. My love was football, though. I mean, I wrestled because they said I'd be good at it, and then I played baseball because just kind of similar situation. They said I was pretty good at it. So, but I really my love was always football.
So where'd you end up getting your undergraduate degree from?
So I got my 120 hours from Dalton State, and it's really a funny story. So I had opportunities to play at Maryville, Cumberland, Shorter, some smaller schools like that, being a 5'8" guy. But I fell in love, and no kidding, man, I fell in love my senior year of high school and ended up marrying her in 2018. So I decided I wanted to stick around and go to school with her and see what God had in store for us. And turns out God had in store a beautiful life that we put together.
That's awesome. High school sweethearts.
We started dating the Thursday before Walker. We played Walker Academy, or the Walker School, or Walker is a private school down in Atlanta.
Yeah.
We played them on Friday, and we started dating on Thursday. And we actually, on our first date, I rear-ended a lady in front of me.
Oh, no.
at the red light at 2A and Lafette Road going to O'Charlie's for our first date. So that was incredibly embarrassing.
Well, apparently it didn't scare her off. So
It didn't, boy. What was she wrong? She don't know what she got herself into.
Well, maybe she drove from then on.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
So you got your undergraduate degree at Dalton State,
Mm-hmm.
and when you finished there, the whole time you were working at the middle school?
No, actually, I was just a community coach there when I actually got my undergraduate. I didn't get into the education program at Dalton State because I never liked school. I never enjoyed it. So by the time my second freshman year rolled around, I'd only had about 30 hours. But got my 120 hours from there, and then got my it was a post baccalaureate program that I went through at Western Governors online. And when I finished there, I had got my first job at Gordon Lee High School, which was my alma mater, it meant a lot to me at the time. And went there for a year, and then things kind of didn't work out like I wanted them to. Nothing crazy. Just when you go back home to somewhere you had grew up, it really wasn't the exact same you thought it would be, because I fell in love with the place because of my coaches, Kevin McElhaney, Josh Gross, Lee Bohan, and Steve McDaniel. Well, those guys weren't there no more. So I was like, it kind of feels like I'm an outsider because those familiar faces are not around. So I took a job with now one of my very best friends, Chad Fisher at Lafette. Coached receivers there for him. And then Coach Akins, Chad left in January. I don't remember what year that was. But anyway, he left in January. So in May, Paul Ellis came in, and he said, I'm more than welcome to stay and all those things. But I'd already made plans. Talked to Coach Akins at Ringgold and became a position coach for him, the quarterback coach. And in 2020, he hired me as the offensive coordinator.
Well, I can tell you what year it was. It had to be like 2017, because Chad's a buddy of mine too, and he tried to get me to come up there, and I was going to be the baseball coach and coach his sons.
Yeah, you're right. So it was, so you're right. So it was fall of 17. So I guess he left January of 18. I got a job with Robert Akins in May of 18. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
good memory.
Yeah, well, I just remember the reason I remember is we asked my son if he wanted to move from Early County to Lafayette. And he said, well, Daddy, I just got one question. And I said, what's that, son? He said, do they have gnats up there? And I said, no, they don't have gnats in Lafayette. He goes, all right, I'll go. And I said, no,
awesome.
It's way above the gnat line. And that was really all he cared about. It didn't matter to him. Yeah, nothing else was really relevant, but that didn't work out. They had some other ideas, and kind of actually, like you said, God's plan, it kind of worked out, because with Chad leaving not long after that, I was like, man, I'd hate to have been stuck, the new guy and all that. But, I had a lot of friends up there in the Tryon Lafayette area, but never quite as north as you are. So exactly where is Ringgold High School, for those that don't know?
So depends on how well you can hit your driver off the tee box. You can almost hit Chattanooga from where we are. We are
like a suburb of Chattanooga.
Yes, we are less than 10 minutes from from one of the Hamilton County schools in Tennessee, which is East Hamilton. So we are in the most northern corridor of Georgia that you can get.
Okay.
And believe it or not, we're really not the mountain area. It's funny when you say mountains, because we look at the mountain side of Georgia as J, Gilmer, Pickens.
Right, the other side of 75.
Yeah, I don't even know what you would call us. We're like the ridge. We're not quite the mountain. We're on the ridge.
Gotcha. Well, to us flatlanders down here, anything above Atlanta is. You see that little Red Mountain or whatever, Red Rock Mountain or whatever they call it in North Cobb up there on 75, and you're like, look, baby, there's a mountain.
Yeah, Redbud Mountain.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep,
You're like,
that's it.
Look at that. We're there. We're in the mountains.
We're in the mountains.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's just what us down south people think, because it's hard to believe that we're in the same state when you get in the playoffs and you draw a South Georgia school from up there or North Georgia school from up here, especially with the new power ranking system. You could be making driving to the other end of the earth for a first round game.
I know it. Yeah, it is. It is.
So you got to Ringgold in 18
Mm-hmm.
and became an offensive coordinator.
Yeah. So in 2018, I was the quarterback coach. I coached quarterbacks for the season of 18 and 19. Became the offensive coordinator in 2020. So my first year being an offensive coordinator, I coached defense earlier on in my career at Gordley. But then was COVID year. So
awesome.
That was that was a great experience.
Welcome.
And then I mean, and 3 years later, I was fortunate enough to where Mr. Jones and our athletic director Lee Shell had offered me the head coaching job. So,
well, that was an easy decision, I would imagine.
It was, man, and I still remember the moment. I remember what I was eating and everything the day that Mr. Jones called me and said, "Just want to let you know you've been board approved." I was eating a 6-inch Subway sandwich. It was a BMT with. I mean, I can tell you what was on. I can tell you the taste of it and everything. But when he told me you're the next head football coach, I kind of swallowed everything and took a drink of water, and I told him how much I appreciate him. And he said, "Now it's time to get to work." I hung up the phone, and man, my wife started crying. I started crying. Harper was crying because she was a year old, so she's just crying to cry anyways. But it was an emotional day. It was a joy-filled, emotional day for sure.
Well, that's awesome. So you've coached in the area and you're actually on the staff. So what were some things that you tried to do to put your own brand on it when you took over?
Robert Akins did such a phenomenal job while he was there. I mean, he's the all-time winningest football coach in Ringgold history. So we didn't really want to change a ton, but one thing he told me when I took over was he said, "I'm Robert Akins, you're Austin Crisp. Do not try to run my style of program. You be you." So one thing we started doing is we started getting more involved with creating our own culture. I was a huge fan of Josh Niblett when he was at Hoover. And one thing he always preached was the we over me. So we tweaked it a little bit and made it, the we greater than me. The team is greater together than you are as an individual. So that's one thing that we implemented pretty quickly. And then we started with our slogan, which is dominate the moment, early on. And we took that to the extreme. If the kids walked in the weight room, it was a time to dominate whatever moment it was, whether it was 7 a.m. for period 0 weight training or we're going to science class at 8:15, whatever it was, we're gonna damn well put our 100%, 110% effort into it and dominate whatever we're doing at the time. We got heavily involved with social media, branding our program, trying to reach the community a lot more. But I mean, that's really the small changes that we made. We didn't have to make a ton of changes, but the ones we made, we felt like were essentially a new branding to the program.
So when you're taking over and it's your first head coaching job, and even though you've been there and you understand the community, you understand the kids, you know the coaches, it's still like drinking out of a fire hose, ain't it?
Yeah, and you have no way to turn the water off.
No, and there's no way for you to learn. You can tell the other guys, they just got to experience it, because you're going to have to deal with things that before, oh, you're looking for coach. He's right over there. That's who you want to talk to. Now you're the guy that I'm pointing to going, oh, Coach Crisp is who you need to talk to, ma'am. I'm sweeping the locker room out right now and not mad about it.
Yeah, it was I mean, it was a cool experience from the get-go. You know, we didn't have to make a lot of changes on the staff. We made a few changes, nothing big. But we were such a tight-knit staff from the get-go. I mean, we felt like we didn't have to make a lot of changes, definitely with personnel wise. We all liked each other, which is, I mean, with football, I don't care who you are, the game is egotistical when it comes to coaches, whether you're in North Georgia, South Georgia, Middle Georgia, or wherever. But we all just click, man. I mean, it really is a good staff. We feel like we work our tails off. We do a good job. So that's been a blessing, is I didn't have to come in and hire a whole new group of guys and try to blend personalities together. Now we've got personalities from one side of the spectrum to the other, but they blend really well.
Well, I was going to say, I'm glad you hit on it being an egotistical sport, and especially when your culture is built around we's greater than me, because I was going to ask, this day and time, microwave society, the way kids are, the way social media is, how hard has it been to convince those kids to set aside their stats and their personal whatever ego to to gravitate and grasp onto the we's greater than me, because
The
it's not
first
like
year
it
it
used
was
to be. I mean, it's
no, it's not. It's completely different. I mean, man, I feel like I was a pretty good football player. I don't know. I don't have no idea what my stats were. I didn't care. Only stat I cared about was, did we win or did we lose? Um, it was a little difficult at first, to be honest with you, because because of that group of kids. It wasn't anything that prior that we did or anything. It was the group of kids. But now we do feel like that we're to a point now where kids don't care about the stat lines. We last week we gave for the Rockmart game, we gave our offensive player of the week to our left tackle because he graded out at 89%. And our running back was proud for him. Our quarterback and receivers were proud for him because, as you know, offensive line don't get the recognition they deserve. So to see those guys really gravitate to our left tackle, Isaac Dotson, and congratulate him and genuinely be proud for him for being offensive player of the week, that to me, that showed that we were doing something right. We were putting away the stats and the egos and all that aside and saying that dude deserved it. We're proud of him because his success on the field helped us be successful on the field. So that was kind of the not the eye opener, but the I can take a deep breath now because the culture is setting in.
Yeah, I've got to experience the other end of that Friday night, and we lost a tough one. And bless his heart, one of the little freshmen came off, and he's starting as a freshman, and he's on defense, and he asked his position coach. I mean, we hadn't even got back. We just got back to the field house because we got to drive to the stadium, and it's only like a quarter of a mile.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank God I wasn't standing there, but because he's kind of an old school dude like me too. And the kid goes, "Coach, you got any idea how many tackles I got?" And he went apoplectic. He was like, "What? The only stat I care about is we didn't win."
Right.
And he blowtorched him a little bit, and the kid didn't mean he's not a bad kid at all. I mean, I'm not saying that.
No,
It's
but
just
that's what
the
they
way
see on
kids are.
Twitter.
Yeah, the way kids are these
Yeah.
days. They're just like, hey, let me figure out what I did. And he's like, dude, I don't care if you had 1,000 tackles. We lost.
Right.
That's trying
And
to get
that's
them
something
to
else.
understand that.
We see, like, I see it all the time where, I'm not calling programs out, but like different programs around our area where kids are posting their stats on Saturday morning and Sunday morning with their highlight film. That's what they see. That's what they notice. I can honestly say when I woke up Sunday or Saturday morning, even in a Sunday morning, I didn't see anybody post our stats. We were still licking our wounds because we lost to a good Rockmart football team. So, like I said, man, it's reassuring that I do feel like our staff collectively and our kids collectively, our program is continuing to go on that culture of the we aspect. We don't talk about the me. We won't talk about the we because the me don't mean a damn.
Yeah. Well,
It's the
trying to get
we
these kids to
at the end of the
understand.
game.
Yeah, trying to get these kids to understand if you win and you win a lot, that means a lot to the guys at the next level. They want winners. People that are
Hmm.
used to winning. Not saying that people from programs that don't win can't go, but you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
It's a whole lot easier to deal with a kid that expects to win and knows what it takes to win and is used to winning. And man, if you're winning, the stats will take care of themselves. And it's easy to
That's
say
right.
that to a kid these days, but to
Hmm.
get them to completely buy in, I was just curious about that because that's awesome, and it's so difficult this day and time because like you said, Saturday morning you flick on whatever social media outlet you're using, and it's going to be Joe Schmo. I had 5 catches for 145 yards and a touchdown, and as a coach, you're sitting there going, "Yeah, and we lost."
Yep.
It's
Yep.
but it's
That's the
just so
truth,
it's just
man.
so different.
Hmm.
And
It
with
sure
what
is.
they see on TV, and kids not getting their way, and oh, I didn't get the whatever, and I'm looking for a bag, or I'm trying to carry my talent somewhere else instead of just sticking it out and honoring a commitment is just so much different these days than what you guys have to deal with now is just so much different than back when I first started coaching and all that kind of stuff. And it's just so different. And I was just curious, how you guys dealt with that. So when you got in there, was there anything you changed weight room wise, or anything with conditioning, or how y'all did spring and summer and things like that, or did you pretty much just keep it the same?
We So weight room wise, no, because I ran the weight room football wise for Coach Aikens. We're I believe in the 5-3-1 method. It's a branch of, my opinion, it's a branch of bigger, faster, stronger, which I'm a proponent of. So weight room really didn't change. Coach White ran our conditioning and our speed and agility SID work. That didn't change. Um, Structure wise, we changed a little bit. Yeah, we started having a theme of the day during the summer. So we had like motivational Monday where we brought a alumni in that was successful and within the program, and he spoke to our players, and it was all about getting through the day because it's going to be a tough day. We have a competition Tuesday where everything was a competition. It wasn't. We didn't really run any scheme stuff. We did one-on-ones with DBs and receivers. We did one-on-ones with offensive line pass rush. We did everything we did was based off of competition somehow or some way. By the time we got to the last part of the segment of the practice, we had like a competition period between offense and defense, and then we would go first team defense against the best we could get offense, and just compete that way and put things on the line to where, if offensive line or offensive wise we felt like we got 3 yards, we won. Defense lost, that's 15 up downs, whatever it was. So it was all about competing. But being a competitor, it was more about the uh, what happens to you when you lose, because I do feel like kids um, are for instance, we're reading the Twin Thieves book, which
Oh,
talks
great
about the
book.
fear. Yeah, so the fear of failure and the fear of judgment. One thing that we've learned that kids are kind of pushing away is that fear of failure, and they take it on as like a joke. So if they get beat, they laugh about it. Or like, man, you got me, whatever. Well, that's not a competitor's aspect. So we said, all right, if you lose, that's 25 up downs, that's 15 sit ups, that's whatever. You have a consequence for losing, because I have a consequence for losing, and that's my principal getting on me about it. So we really threw that in, and we hammered that during the summer. Then we go into We Fence Wednesday, which is we focus on our special teams and ensuring that our special teams are up to date and doing what we're supposed to do, and taking care of our culture aspect of it. We didn't lift on Wednesdays for a long period of time. We lifted for about 30 minutes just as a complex movement. And then We Fence kind of brought into our special teams, but it's also brought into our culture. So we went over our slogans and what that means to us, and we went over our Tiger Essentials, which is, it spells Tiger out. You've got toughness, integrity, grit, and those type of things. So we ensured that, it's almost like a classroom. We're teaching those. Um, And then on Thursday, we do Thirsty Thursday, and that's where it's time to eat. It's time to get your drink in. It's time to, chug that water and let's get to work and let's compete to where at the end of the day, Thursday, you're thirsty to get to, the next spot on the depth chart. It's about that kind of thing. So we would post the depth chart every Thursday, and there were times where a freshman, there's actually this year I had a freshman jump in front of my spread Y on the Thirsty Thursday chart, and he was a junior and a freshman jumping him. He didn't like that too much, so by God, the next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, he was competing his tail off trying to get back above the freshman. So, I mean, everything comes back to competing is how we took it in the summer. But that's been our biggest change. We didn't change the weight room. We didn't change our training wise. We just changed how we kind of do things during the summer, which carries over in the fall.
I love the competition aspect of it because to me, kids these days, they're playing travel, whatever, tennis, pickleball, baseball,
the
football,
grossest thing
whatever.
I've ever heard of.
And yeah, and they get a trophy. There's a World Series champion every weekend, and
Of an A bracket, a B bracket, a gold bracket, a bronze bracket, everybody's a champion of some bracket, right?
Right, and they don't get to value and understand what true competition really is. And you try to point out to the kids, look, man. I mean, I didn't think about it when I was your age, and this may go one ear and out the other, but you need to be told you're competing with everybody in your age bracket for a job, not just football, but I mean, you're competing for a spot in a school, a spot, working as a lineman or doing whatever. It doesn't matter what it is you're doing. You're competing with everybody your age for the rest of your life.
I'm glad you say that because I don't think people grasp that. I mean, from the moment you turn 18 years old, hopefully 18, you're like you said, you're competing for a spot in a college. You're competing for a spot on a roster, whether it's a lineman, whether you're a chemical worker, whatever it is. But you're also competing for a spouse, and that's what we're hitting on so much. Is you're competing for a spouse. No spouse wants a turd for a husband, So it's also we compete, but we also want to be good men and good people, and you're not going to compete for a spouse, for a good woman that's going to put up with a turd. So you're going to have to be a better person about it.
Absolutely. I mean, mine wishes she probably would have figured that out 25 years ago, but
that's why I married mine young.
But they do. Well, there's that. And then, they actually do. They can make us better.
I know mine has, brother. I know for a fact she has.
Well, I know I can't live without mine because that's just, when I tell her I want to go to the mountain, she's like, well, you can go. Just make sure they have direct deposit. You can find you a 12 by 60 on the side of one of them mountains and, just I'll give you the routing number.
That's awesome.
And but
yeah, keep you humble too.
And that's what it takes though, because it's the competition aspect of it. You're exactly right. It's not just jobs. It's your whole future, and you don't want to be that guy.
No.
And when you put it out there for them like that, some of them may blow us off, but some of them get it. And sometimes you can show them better than you can tell them. So that's just refreshing to hear that and that Twin Thieves book is outstanding. Chad Alligood, when I worked with him at Northside, he got that for the staff and we read it, and we tried to have a book every year. And that one was, I mean, it's an easy read.
That's what I like about it. And kids understand it. Like we read Extreme Ownership. The year we read Extreme Ownership by David Goggins, we had a very mature group of kids. If I were to read that book to my kids right now, it would blow their minds. But Twin Thieves, like as long as I'm a head coach, I'm reading it every single year to my players. And we literally read through every chapter. We started in June. We're about halfway through the book now, but I'll read it to our leadership group. Each coach picks a kid that they believe is a leader, and I read through it with those leadership guys. And I'm telling you, man, I will not quit reading that book. I'll just say that.
It's a great book, and it's, if you wanted to sit down and read it in a couple hours, you probably could. It's not anything intensive. You're not reading the Odyssey. and
Right.
it's written by a coach and going through his year and what they did and how they turned it around or how they got them to accept ownership and understand the twin thieves that are out to get them all the time. So for those out there that haven't checked the book out, take it from Coach Crisp and I, it's definitely worth your time. Even if you don't want to implement it in your program, it's going to make you better as a person and a coach. Little shameless plug there for the Twin Thieves people. And but it was good. I mean, I'm pretty blunt and honest kind of guy. If it sucked, I'd be like, no, don't read that. But it was really good. So how are things for the Tigers this year? I know started off the year on fire and had a tough one last week. But what was the going into the season? What were you thinking that this version of the Ringgold Tigers could be this year?
I mean, we've pushed a little fun fact about Ringgold. It's not fun at all. Is that we've never won a region title. So I mean, our goal is to win a region title, and it still is. I love Biff Parson, but we're hoping he loses too, and we win out so we can pull the region title off. But our biggest thing was just be 1-0 each week. Saturday morning, wake up happy, don't wake up upset, and we don't really look at long-term goals. We look at long-term goals as a staff and as a program, but as a team, year to year, we just got to find a way to be 1-0 and wake up happy on a Saturday morning.
So who do y'all have this week? Well, I mean, it'll be last week by the time this airs, but who do you got this week?
So this week we got North Cobb Christian. And they're a really solid football program, and they're scoring a lot of points, and they do an incredible job. But it's I don't know that there's a team that we play this year that I can just take a breath on and say, "Whew, let's just roll the balls out and play." I mean, this specifically this year, man. This is a tough region to play in.
Well, and that makes it fun too for everybody involved because you got to be on your A game. There's no taking a break, and y'all lost a tough one in overtime last week, so the kids know, those games can go either way, literally. And,
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like you got to get them up, and it's not like you got to, trick them into, all right, we got to play really hard this week, guys, because this bunch over here, they know. I mean, but when you're in a region this got a lot of parity and has a lot of talent, all in the same grades, competing against each other like you guys do, that makes for an exciting season.
It does, and I mean, I really think our kids understand that. I think they understand. Our coaches understand for sure that there's each week it's a 50-50 game. Like there's no 60-40 games that we feel. I mean, so Norville last week beat North Cobb Christian. They were an underdog by like 21 points. We were picked. We weren't picked. We were giving up. Rockmart was giving up 21 points against us. So I mean, and they were supposed to beat us by 22 and a half or 21 and a half, whatever it was, and we kept it a close game. I mean, Cahulla Creek was up on North Cobb Christian 2 weeks ago. So I mean, there's no time for breath, and I think our kids understand that.
Well, totally off the wall and completely different, and I'm not going to ask you a question like you were asked about the upcoming game, but I know why they do it when they put out the point spreads, but could you imagine what we know? Betting on a high school football game? Betting on these kids? I mean, like really betting. Like you said, y'all were 21 point dogs. But they put those numbers out there for a reason. Some fools out there betting on the jokers that we're sitting in class with, looking at them that they don't know come here from Sikkim, and they're serious. Like they're betting on them. I just think about that sometimes. I'm like, I get why they put out a point spread or whatever, but surely to God, somebody's not depraved enough that they're out there betting on high school football. But they probably are.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, man, you're breaking up on me just a little bit.
Oh, I was saying that I understand why they give the point spreads.
I mean, I don't understand it.
But would you bet on a high school kid?
No. No. So first off, it's a little bit, I guess it's a little bit different no matter where you are, but like, I don't know what some of my kids are going through tonight. I don't know if they're going to have a bad night at home. And on Thursday night, you don't know what's going on. I hope they get food. I hope they get a supper. I hope good things are happening in their life. To point a point spread on a high school kid I think it's absurd.
Yeah, I could probably put a line on whether or not they're going to have a pencil, or you know, or whether or not a few of them, whether or not they can make it to fifth period without getting written up for something stupid like farting in class, or
Or if they come into us about 30 minutes before kickoff and say, "Coach, somebody took my knee pads."
Oh, absolutely.
Give me those numbers and I'll be a millionaire.
Oh, absolutely. Someone stole my mouthpiece, or I can't find my mouthpiece. I don't have Coach, how do I get this belt in there? Well, you start with the middle end. I'd do that. Will you do it for me? No, baby. I just showed you. I just got it started. You do the rest.
That's right.
You've learned something. Move on.
That's right.
And you got to have. I've already had to snatch up a couple of hours and been like, listen, man, if anything like that ever happens again on Friday before the game, do not go ask the head coach. Come find me, because I don't want you to get an unnecessary butt chewing. He don't deal with that on Fridays. Let's come ask me, and I won't be ugly to you. I'll find you. We had one the other night that showed up over there with two right cleats, and then we went in his locker, and he had like 4 sets of right cleats. So, I'm not by any means intelligent, but that means one of them other knotheads has got 4 sets of left-footed cleats.
That's right.
And he hadn't come and traded them out yet. And
he's probably going to wear them.
Oh yeah,
for pregame.
And people are putting point spreads on high school
I know.
kids. It's insane. So, what are some things since you played and since you've been doing it, for the past 15 years at least? What are some things that you've noticed about the game that's changed?
The game, you can still be physical in football, but how do I say this? So the physicality has not necessarily changed. It's how the scheme has made it less physical. So, I'm the worst one to blame. Like, we're an up-tempo spread offense. We run a ton of RPOs. We chunk the ball deep. We throw mesh. We throw double post sail. We do all these things. But even like you say 15 years ago, I was in school and I was running 36 belly. And then I turn around and play quarterback the next play and run 37 belly option. To me, it's not necessarily like I said, it's not the physicality part that's changed. It's how the game's implemented. Because there's still physical football teams out there, and a lot of them are still physical. But we don't do Oklahomas anymore. Why? Because very rarely do we line up and have to run through a fullback to make a tackle. It's a perimeter drill. It's different things like that. And I do believe there was more we people 15 years ago than there were me people. And I think now there's more me people now versus we people in the world. So I think those are your two biggest differences, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's not just the kids. There's
and the toughness of the kids. Like, for my offensive line coach right now, like I said, was my offensive coordinator in high school. And I bet I got a Toradol injection probably every 2 weeks, if not every week, in my shoulder and my knee. Like, 1, parents are not going to allow that to happen anymore. 2, athletic trainers are not going to allow that to happen anymore. But 3, I think kids are still tough. Like, don't get me wrong, they're still tough. But I just don't believe that society is going to allow them to continue to be that tough anymore.
No, they're not. The thing that I'm worried about more than anything is mental toughness.
Yes.
Because, I'm the world's worst at calling them whatever. Not profane, but, come here, dummy.
Yeah.
No, dummy, that's not who you're supposed to block. I mean, I grew up watching Fred Sanford. I can't help it. That's,
Yeah.
and I grew up in an era where your feelings didn't matter. Nobody cared about your feelings. You either do or you don't. And if you don't, you won't play. And
Mm-hmm.
if you want to play bad enough, you figure it out.
Yeah.
And I'm the
Yeah.
same way because I'm sorry, life doesn't care and everybody's going through something. And, you're, as you said earlier, you're in competition.
Yeah.
And the cream will rise to the top.
Well, I had a kid come to me. He showed up late to practice. This was like the first week. We do 6 a.m. practices on Tuesday and Thursday. He showed up at like 6:15, so he's late. One thing we do is the kid who shows up late he doesn't have a punishment. It's the rest of the team. So kid walks in late at 6:15. I blow the whistle. That means I triple whistle, which means everybody gets your feet moving. We hand him a nice cold thing of water while everybody else does the up downs.
I like it.
And that's because his decision of being late, no matter what it was, and he had a good decision. He had a good reason at the time to be late. He did. He does not have the greatest things going on for him at the time at home, but still his decision of being late affected the success of the rest of the team. So that's what we're showing. Because you're late, everyone else has to suffer because you missed out reps that will make you better on a Friday night, so you don't hang your dudes out to dry. But he had a good reason for being late, but life don't care about that reason. They don't. I mean, your boss one day that you can't say, well, I had a bad night at home. Well, tough crap. You work on time.
Yeah.
Like they don't care.
No.
And I let them, but I also let them know, hey, if I have to come get you at 3 a.m, I'll come get you. I got a comfy couch. I'll do whatever I have to for you. But you have to communicate with me.
Oh, and that's one of the biggest things these kids
these
days, their communication skills are god awful. For people that text and do everything they do in social media, the simple act of them knowing right now at 7 o'clock, I'm not going to have a ride in the morning. I need to text coach or somebody and let them know, hey, can you swing by and get me in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's going to be tomorrow morning at about 5:50.
Yep.
Hey, coach, can you come get me? Well, no, because I have stuff I've got to be doing.
That's right.
Figure it out.
And now it's funny, like players will text me, and I think they're starting to understand I don't text. Now, I text my leadership group on, whenever and tell them I love them. I text them and say, hey, set your alarm clocks, and I want a screenshot of your alarms because my leadership groups run the rest of the guys. So if I text my leadership group, say, hey, send a reminder out, make sure alarms are set at 5:15 a.m., they text their guys within that group and all that stuff. But they've gotten to a point where if somebody texts me, like I call them, I don't text players back because they're going to have to learn how to use words. Hey, coach, sorry, I'm going to be late tomorrow. Okay, why? Explain that to me. Don't just type it out in a text message because ultimately that's easier. Like even coaches in the past who we've had that are sometimes not, old or young, whatever it is. Hey, man, hey, coach, I won't be here tomorrow. Why? You're 30 years old. Why are you texting me that? There's some things that require a phone call.
Absolutely. And it's accountability.
It is.
I mean, it's personal accountability. I mean, that's like when they started the absentee thing where we could call into work and you just hit the machine would find you a sub and all the other stuff. I would be interested to know the spike in absenteeism amongst, our peers.
Right.
Because it's a whole lot easier than when you got to call your principal and say, I'm not coming today. What's wrong? I don't feel good. Well, you can be sick at work.
That's right.
Are you running a fever? Now, I won't go to work if I'm running a fever.
Right.
But if I just don't feel good, man, I cannot feel good at work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like our head coach told the kids the other day, he's like, man, you don't think us as grown men don't come up here some days and we don't want to be here either? You got to fake it. There's
a lot of other places that sometimes I'd rather be, but It's what's best for me. It's what's best for my family. It's what's best for the program is that I'm here making sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. And I think that that's just so important to teach young people these days. And I'm glad that we have people like you pouring into the kids and teaching them to compete and teaching them how important that is. And putting the onus on the players, your leadership council, to take some ownership in that as well. And I love the making the dude that screwed up, or not screwed up, but the guy standing there and everybody else has to pay the penalty, because ultimately it's a team game.
If he misses a tackle and somebody scores, it's his fault, but his team suffered because of his mistakes. That's kind of the way we look at it.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Well, Coach, I sure do appreciate you coming on and sharing your story and how you run your program. And I love everything you said. I mean, that you sound like my kind of guy. And
well, I appreciate it. I'm only just probably 20 years younger, right? How old are you?
I'm 52.
No kidding. Okay, I'll be 32 in January. So I said it, 20 years. I didn't mean to say that.
Well, no, it's okay. I don't mind. I mean, I'm the field setup guy. I'm the, I threw my back guy. I've had all these surgeries and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I was looking the other day at some of the young coaches going, really? Why am I carrying all this stuff? I mean,
that's right.
I'm old. Y'all aren't hiring me for what I can physically do anymore. Y'all are, unfortunately, you hired me because you think I know something. So again, fake it till you make it.
That's right. That's right, man.
Well, Coach, best of luck to y'all this week, and I sure do appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. And if there's ever anything in the world I can do to help you, just let me know.
Well, I sure do appreciate it, man. I appreciate talking to you. It's been fun. Go Tigers.
Season 7 of Son Coaches Podcast is proudly brought to you by Titan Sensor. Season 7